Hi, and welcome back to EMTP Life. And in today's episode, we're going to be covering a question that's come across my table a few times in the past week, and that is, how do I pick the right contractor? Now, I've been working with some of the same contractors for years, and I still go through a process whenever I'm needing or using a contractor in a new area or for a skill set that my contractor may not have down or may require an additional license for. So I go through the same process, and that is to go directly to Craigslist. And what I'm going to do is show you exactly where on Craigslist I go to post ads for laborers. Now, if you go onto Craigslist page, and I know a lot of people are thinking immediately, oh my God, Craigslist, I don't want to use it. But Craigslist is one of the most trafficked websites in the United States, and it's going to generate the leads that you're looking for. So Craigslist is my go-to whenever I'm looking for any kind of help. That's the first spot I go to. But there are some other services out there where you can find contractors. They come vetted, they come with some sort of reviews. You can use those services as well, but I guarantee you, if you use Craigslist, you'll get way more responses. A lot of them are gonna be crappy, but you're still gonna get more activity. So when you go into Craigslist's website and you go to the bottom lower section, there's a section where you can post gigs. Now, you're gonna wanna post labor gigs. And as it implies, you're posting gigs for people who are going to do laborers work. This could be your house cleanup, landscapers, you name it, whatever it is that you're looking for, you'll be able to find that contractor if you just post it down there. Right in the subject line, put the contractor type that you want to use and a description of what it is that you're looking for. So if you're going to be doing a flip or some sort of major renovation, how would you go about it? First thing to do is post your gig. Say that I'm looking for a general contractor to do blank, whatever that work is. So the way that I tend to do it is I also, in the description of the job, I say exactly what I plan on doing. How many bathrooms? How many kitchens? Am I refinishing floors? What type of floors am I going to be using? Is it going to be refinishing hardwood? Am I installing new hardwood? Am I installing laminates, carpet, you name it? You're going to want to put those things down in writing to give them as clear a sense of what it is that you're trying to do. You're going to want to include maybe the square footage of the spaces, even pictures of the current condition. That also gives them some insight as to what they're dealing with. But one thing to be clear, make sure you present yourself as competent as possible. Be as descriptive as possible, and as sharp as possible. Now, the more detail you put into your advertisement, the better it's going to be for you to filter out what kind of contractor responds. Sometimes I put specific keywords inside of my ad just to make sure that people are paying attention. I'll tell them how I want them to respond, whether I want them to respond via text, via email, or by phone call, and tell them, please reference this project name, or whatever the case may be. If they've taken the time out to read the ad, answer in the way that you want to, these are detail-oriented people. Not all of them will. A lot of people just go through and just send you with a generic response. Hey, I'm interested, is the job still available? Those guys you might want to entertain, but it already shows you a little bit about who they are as far as details are concerned. How professional are they, etc. I also include that I want them to have license and insurance. If they have license and insurance, that's going to, one, prevent you from running into conflicts when it's time to have them pull permits if permits are needed on the job, because your township is most likely going to ask that they're licensed and insured. And by insurance, it's going to be workers' compensation insurance and general liability insurance typically. Some counties don't require to have a contractor's license. Just check with your local municipality to see if that is the case. Now, another thing that I do is I ask them the day of their appointment to come with proof of license and insurance. The reason for this is because you want to avoid dealing with the guys who aren't licensed and insured because they're less sticky. And what I mean by that is a contractor who's taking the time out to be licensed in your town and pay for insurance is somebody who's making a business of this, who plans on being around for a while. The guys who are not licensed and insured, they kind of come and go. If you were to give them a security deposit, they may disappear. I almost never give a security deposit because I've had contractors do exactly that. So if they're licensed and insured, that means that they're registered somewhere. That means that there's an address associated with them. That means that you can find them if they decided to try to run away with your money, so you can at least sue them. Because if you give a contractor money and they disappear and you call the police and say, hey, I've been robbed by this contractor, you know what the cop is going to tell you? The cop is going to tell you, hey, this isn't a crime. This is a business-to-business matter, and you need to take it up in small claims court. And when you go to small claims court and you gave the contractor a $15,000 deposit, and they say, whoa, this is above our grade of claims, you're going to have to file a larger suit in a larger court. The next thing that's going to happen is you're going to go to that larger court and they're going to say, no, you need to file this with an attorney. And when you contact an attorney, the attorney's going to say, oh, this recovery amount is too small. I really don't advise that you hire my firm because it's going to cost you more in legal fees to recover these funds than you have outstanding. So pretty much you're out of luck. So by just taking the step to say, hey, you know what, let me work exclusively with licensed people and with insured people, is going to save you in the long run, because you can minimize the effect of them running away with funds or not completing a job. That's number one. Another thing that I like to do is I like them to, offer an initial ballpark price as to how much I should expect to pay for this job. A lot of people may avoid doing that because they don't want to scare off the contractors, or they don't want to get, an off estimate. But you could tell the contractor in the ad, look, I just want to know exactly what I'm working with here, so I don't waste your time coming in and, giving me a bid. I have a number in mind that I want to spend on this project. I'm sure you have a number in mind that, if you experience that, would dictate how much this is going to cost. And give me that number so I know what I'm working with. Are you working on a labor-only basis? Or are you doing labors and materials? Obviously, labors and materials, that is going to change the estimate depending on what materials you're going to use. But just give me a roundabout figure for this type of job. If you're a property flipper, let them know that. Say, hey, look, I'm looking to make a profit on this, and I'm looking to do more of these. So you cannot give me the general public price. I'm not paying $10,000 to refinish a simple 8x7 bathroom. Not happening. That's just too much money. So you want to make sure that you're competent and that you're communicating exactly what your intentions are, and that they're giving you some information. Tell them to respond with an estimate. That way you can start narrowing down who you want to meet with. Now, once you've gotten a few hundred responses, next thing, it's not going to be a few hundred. It's going to be like a few dozen. Based on your criteria, what you asked them for, are they licensed and insured? Indicate whether or not they've read the ad by responding in the way that you want them to respond. Then you can start setting your appointments. Set them an hour apart on the same day, preferably a weekend, because they're not working on other jobs at the same time. That's another thing. They might be working another job, so trying to get to your location during business hours or after hours may be a little difficult. Sometimes the weekend is the best time to get bids. Schedule them throughout the day. Pick 5, 6 of them and give them an hour slot each. Half of them will probably show up, the other half, will kind of eliminate themselves from the equation because of that. Use about one weekend. Try to get as many of them through the door, especially if this is your first time bidding contractors in this area. When they come in, walk them through, give them an idea of what it is that you want to have done. Let them give you their feedback as to what do they think about the condition of the home, okay? Now, you may have to go through this entire process as you're kind of pending signing your contract, like you got an accepted offer and you want to see how much it's going to cost you to actually do this job. In my experience, that's kind of tough because, the contractors are going to be working other jobs, they're going to be doing other things, and you're going to start getting pressed by the seller to sign contracts. So this kind of works a little bit better when you have control of the property or you already own the property. But in most cases, you need to get estimates in advance while you're making your offers or while you're in that contract signing phase. So you want to make sure that you're on top of it. But either way, they'll come. The more informed you are about what you want to get done, the more details you can give them, the better, because they're going to be able to price you according to that. They're going to also be able to give you feedback as to what's going to save you money. So they may look at a bathroom and say, you know what, we can just redo these tiles in the surround and paint and reglaze the tub, and I think it'll look really nice, especially if you're gonna just be flipping this property or you're gonna be renting it. You know, based on this neighborhood, I think this will be just fine. You don't need to go overboard. Get a contractor like that, someone who really understands the perspective of the investor or the flipper, because they'll know, especially if they've worked on other flip properties. Ask them, have you worked with any other investors? You know, what materials were they using? What did you get from them to save money? What did you do to save money? And once you've got enough people come through the door, they're gonna start giving you bids, right? They're gonna start giving you what their price breakdown is. Never, ever pay for a bid. Never. I never do. I never will, ever. Because that's baloney. If they want to get the job, it's part of their business to come, analyze a deal, and make an offer. That's their business. To pay them for their time, you're gonna get jerked for sure. You're dealing with somebody who's I think a little unethical or unrealistic, and they're gonna be squeezing you for money every single step of the way, and you wanna avoid that. Once you have all the bids, you're gonna eliminate all the low ones, because if they're way too low and they seem kind of off, then there's something off there. And you wanna remove all the high ones. You wanna remove the guys who are redoing bathrooms for 10 and 12 grand. Get them out of your life. You don't wanna work with those guys. Look at everybody who's in the middle. Once you have all the guys in the middle, your next step is, you know, analyzing their price points. How much are they charging for a bathroom versus each other? Is one guy really priced really well for bathrooms? Is another priced really well for hanging cabinets? You might even hire two of the guys who do different parts of the project to get your best price. So really see, if they give you an itemized breakdown, see exactly what they're charging for different things, okay? How much are they charging for drywall? How much are they charging for painting? And even in that, you start to get a sense of what is the average rate in that community. Now, once you've done that and you kind of say, okay, I'm comfortable with this price, you need to start looking at who am I most comfortable with, right? As far as contractors are concerned, you're gonna want to check for personality matches. Do they communicate with you in the way that you like? Are they prompt? Are they friendly? Are they warm? Whatever it is, do they give you a general positive vibe? That's something that matters, because you're gonna be working with these people for weeks to months to complete a project. And if they're annoying to you in the first day that you meet them, guess what? After 2 weeks and they're more comfortable, they're gonna be even more annoying. So a good match in, you know, personality, chemistry is also important. If you feel good with them and you like their price, you most likely have your contractor. That's how I go through the process, and that's how you probably should go through the process as well. Obviously getting recommendations from friends, other flippers in the area, people who are doing work, your neighbors, that helps as well, because you get a chance to see their work. You could also ask the contractors to see some of their previous work. They might show you work that they've done on their own house. They might show you their last job. They may have friends and family that they've done work for, and then there's not an issue going back there. Check it out. See how they finish tiles. See how they install floors. Are they level? Are they crooked? Are they, you know, okay? Do they cut weird? See what the quality of their work is, and make your decisions from there. Now, if you found this video helpful, hit that like button. And if you're not already a subscriber, we got that subscription button right down there to the lower, what is that? The lower right of your screen. You might want to subscribe to this channel as well, as I'll be doing these type of videos from time to time. Now, this is just me talking to you at a camera, but I'm giving you my knowledge and my experience of investing and flipping real estate. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.